Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be continuing the modular short story narrations for the various operators in Arknights. And in today's episode we're going to feature the one for Operator Hoshiguma. So as always, before we get to the nitty gritty of what the module does, we're going to take a peek at the story first. And also as always, the art of the module itself. So this time around, it's pretty much down to what the character is all about. There is Hoshiguma's shield from the other side this time, with all the grips and handles that you can imagine, including some grip tape, because, you know, we don't want to chafe our hands while we hold that massive chunk of a metal shield. But anyway, the story and the module itself are titled Gifts from Friends. And the story goes as follow. Redacted day, redacted month. I got this shield from him. Unusual form, extremely sharp, but feels good to hold. Hanya, he says its name is. I don't know what scripture was on his mind when he named it, or who he was thinking of, or what mistake, but I like the name. Hanya. I'll take it with me. From here on, it's my partner. Redacted day, redacted month. Before I left, Hanya's good old father said he had something else to give me. I thought it'd be something important, but it was just a hunk of scrap metal. He said any handle paired with Hanya, I'd need to polish myself. It's a strange ask, but if that's part of the craft, it's not like I can't do it. Hanya already has a front that terrifies people, and an edge sharp enough to chop through enemies. So me personally making an inside to match might be the proper way. Redacted day, redacted month. Apparently, I've got to polish this to the point I can fight holding Hanya barehanded without chafing my hands, or feeling any sort of discomfort. As in, I've just got to polish all the edges flat? Alright, looks like this is going to be a very long process. Redacted day, redacted month. I feel like I've been polishing for long enough, but it still chafes. It looks smooth and flat already. Is this still not enough? Redacted day, redacted month. It's been some time since I left Higashi. Lungmen's a complex place. There's good parts and bad parts. I taught lessons to plenty of people who needed them and run across plenty of interesting folk. I think I like it here. There's no part of Hanya's handle for me to polish any further. After using it so long, even the curves run flat, but it's still a metal block in the end. No matter what, it won't reach the point where people can use it without any discomfort. It seems like it was all an impossible task from the beginning. I guess my craft isn't perfected enough. Even if I force myself to polish all the edges flat, it still can't hide itself. An iron chunk's an iron chunk, and it won't get any softer. Even if it looks smooth and slick, its nature won't change. As of today, I think I understood his intent a little. Redacted day, redacted month. I got this gift from my friends. Maybe it's bad of me to say this, but I definitely didn't expect those two ladies to put so much care into thinking up a suitable present for me. A latest model soft strap shield handle. It sure is something I've been in need of. I appreciate the consideration. You know what they say about kind gestures from friends. Let's try using it tomorrow. And that is the short story, a little play-by-play all the way from when she received Hanya for the first time to today's events in Lungmen and her life. But I do like this little part here where she finally realizes what the message was from her, from the creator of the shield to her, right? But yeah, also I would like to say here that Higashi's story when? Every time that name or the country come up, I'm just like, when? When is that gonna happen? But yeah, anyway, joking aside, let's take a look first at the basic traits and talents for Hoshiguma before we take a look at what the module changes once it's equipped. So, for traits, she can block 3 enemies. Neat, that is pretty much what she is supposed to do, considering she is a straight up tank but offensive tank. But then we go to the talents. The first talent is a 25% chance to resist damage. The second talent is when deployed, allied operators gain plus 6% defense. a pretty nice defense gain, especially if you're running something like Defender Knights. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Very simple and very Hoshiguma. But anyway, what does the module change? So first off, before I click on this, is as a quick addendum here, the module is already on tier 2, or rather stage 2. So the changes in her base stats up here are going to be reflecting of that. So then, the module itself obviously gives her more attack and defense, very important considering Hoshiguma is a very offensive tank. And on stage 1 already, it gives her +1 to block, which means from now on, if she has only the stage 1 module equipped, she will block 4 instead of 3 enemies. Very neat. But what else does it change? On stage 2, her first talent will be upgraded. As a quick reminder, 25% chance to resist damage, that is all it said originally, but now it is a 30% chance to resist damage, and when she resists damage, she gains a 20% attack up buff for 3 seconds, but the attack buff does not stack, meaning that you can only have one of these buffs of 20% active on a successful resist. Which also means she will not stop resisting damage in those 3 seconds. The resist can keep on proccing for the entire duration of the buff. It's just you will not gain multiple stacks of the same buff. If that would be the case, that would truly be insane. But what does stage 3 bring? Stage 3 obviously continues to buff her attack and defense, but it increases her resist chance to 32%, so it's another 2% up from what it was on stage 2. But more importantly, the attack increase goes from 20% to 35%, and from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. So she gains quite the substantial attack buff when she resists a damaging hit. But obviously, just to showcase something very quickly and to remind everybody who might not know, she is both a offensive tank and a pretty much just I receive damage, but I also smack the damage back at you tank, meaning that if you use her on skill 1 or 3, she will obviously go into a super defensive mode where she buffs her defense and she buffs her attack. Skill 3 fully mastered, for example, buffs her attack by 140% and her defense by 90%. The defense, basically look at it like almost doubling the defensive value, which in this case, considering I have a level 90 Hoshiguma here on E2, is 873. That is insane. But her attack obviously also goes up with a Mastery 3 Skill 3 by 140%, and then add on top of that another 20 or 35% attack buff. She will shred shit. But obviously, like I said, this does not work with her other utility, which is her second skill, that is a passive. The passive does buff her defense by just being equipped, but she gains nothing else from it essentially, outside of the fact that she now reflects all damage received to the attackers. And depending on the mastery, in this case I have it on mastery 1, it's an 85% of attack physical damage to enemies that attack Hoshiguma. So that flies back on them. And it's pretty much the thing I was using her probably recently the most on, considering certain Seaborn and other enemies that can shoot through the entire map without even being close to the target. But yeah, like I said, the only actual thing from the module that benefits this skill would be the resist damage buff, or rather chance, plus the flat increase to defense, obviously, which then benefits even more from the passive defense buff increase here. But yeah, essentially the module in its entirety is more or less meant for her first or third skill, probably third skill, obviously. But yeah, you can see from that already. But anyway, it makes her tankier, more survivable, and she can shred shit more that will be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please consider leaving a like on the video. It helps these videos and the channel in general quite a lot. But in general, I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next part. There's a couple of more of these that I have lined up, and considering we have a bit of a downtime now until Il Sirakusano comes out, I'm gonna churn out a couple more of these module short stories while I have the time to do so. So I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.